What you're about to witness might be the most heartbreaking, soul-crushing moment in Monday Night Raw history. AJ Styles, the phenomenal one, a man who's bled for this business for over 2 decades, walked into that ring believing he'd get the send-off he deserved. Instead, he got betrayed. He got humiliated. And the wrestling world will never be the same. Stick with me, because by the time we reach the end of this breakdown, you're going to understand why this wasn't just a speech gone wrong. This was a calculated destruction of a legacy. And I need you here with me, right now. If you love this business, if you've ever felt that raw emotion when a hero falls, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Join the SLAMZONE family. Because we're about to dive deep into the kind of moment that reminds us why we fell in love with wrestling in the first place. And trust me, you're going to want to be part of this conversation. The lights dim across the arena. That familiar music hits. And there he is, AJ Styles, walking down that ramp with a look in his eyes that we've never quite seen before. This isn't the cocky, confident phenomenal one who's conquered every promotion on the planet. No, this is different. This is vulnerability. This is a man who's been carrying the weight of father time on his shoulders, feeling every bump, every landing, every sacrifice he's made for 23 years in this brutal industry. You can feel it in the air. The crowd, they're not sure whether to cheer or cry, because deep down, they know. They know what's coming. The rumor mill has been spinning for weeks. Whispers backstage. Hushed conversations. Is this it? Is AJ Styles really about to tell us goodbye? He climbs through those ropes, and the microphone feels heavier in his hand than any championship belt ever did. The crowd starts chanting his name. AJ Styles. AJ Styles. And you can see it, that crack in his armor. His eyes are glistening under those bright lights. This man has stood in front of millions. He's main event WrestleMania. He's been WWE champion. He's done it all. But this moment of honesty? This is different. He starts to speak. His voice, it's shaking. Not from fear. From emotion. Pure, raw emotion. He's talking about his family. About missing his kids grow up. About hotel rooms and airport terminals and ice baths at 3 in the morning. About the toll this business takes on your body, on your soul, on the people you love. And the crowd, they're hanging on every single word. Because this isn't a promo. This is real. This is AJ Styles, the human being, not the character. He's thanking the fans. Thanking his fellow wrestlers. Talking about the journey from that small town in Georgia to the bright lights of WWE. From TNA to New Japan to the independent scene and finally, to the place he always dreamed of being. And you can hear it in his voice, he's preparing to say the words that will break hearts across the wrestling universe. But then, something shifts. The atmosphere changes. You can feel it through the screen. There's a tension creeping into the arena. AJ pauses mid-sentence. His eyes dart toward the entrance ramp. And the crowd, they sense it too. That uncomfortable electricity that fills the air right before everything goes wrong. The music hits. And it's not who you'd expect. Out walks someone who should be out there to celebrate AJ, to honor him, to send him off the right way. But the look on their face? It's not respect. It's not admiration. It's something darker. Something that makes your stomach drop because you suddenly realize, this isn't going to be a fairy tale ending. AJ's face, you can see the confusion. The hurt already starting to creep in. He extends his hand. A gesture of friendship. Of brotherhood. Of all those battles they've fought together, all those nights they tore the house down for these fans. And for a moment, just a brief, flickering moment, it looks like everything might be okay. The crowd is on edge. Some are cheering, hoping for that feel-good moment. Others are silent, holding their breath, sensing the inevitable catastrophe that's about to unfold. The tension in that building could be cut with a knife. AJ's standing there, vulnerable, exposed, his guard completely down for maybe the first time in his entire career. And then it happens. That hand doesn't meet AJ's in a shake. It meets his jaw in the most vicious, soul-destroying strike you've ever seen. The sound echoes through the arena. The crowd gasps. A collective intake of breath from 15,000 people who just witnessed something unforgivable. AJ crumples. Not just physically, but emotionally. You can see it in his eyes as he hits that canvas. This isn't just pain. This is betrayal. The assault doesn't stop. Boot after boot. Punch after punch. This isn't a wrestling match. This is personal. This is vengeance for something. This is anger that's been bubbling under the surface, hidden behind fake smiles and professional handshakes. And AJ, he's not fighting back. He can't. This was supposed to be his moment. His goodbye. And it's being ripped away from him in the most brutal fashion imaginable. The crowd is in shock. Some are booing with a fury that shakes the rafters. Others are stunned into silence. Kids are crying. Adults are standing with their mouths open, unable to process what they're seeing. Because this crosses a line. You don't do this to a legend. You don't do this to a man who's given everything to this business. Not on his night. Not when he's pouring his heart out. Security tries to intervene, but they're thrown aside like ragdolls. Other wrestlers rush down the ramp, but they're too late. The damage is done. AJ Styles is lying in the center of that ring, his speech unfinished, his dignity shattered, his farewell moment transformed into a nightmare. And standing over him, with not a shred of remorse, is someone we never thought would do this. Someone we trusted. Listen, if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now, if your heart is racing and you need to talk about this with someone who gets it, then you're in the right place. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe to SLAMZONE. Turn on those notifications. Because we're a family here, and families process these emotional gut punches together. We've got more wrestling breakdowns, more analysis, more of these moments that remind us why we can't look away from this beautiful, brutal business. Now, let's keep going, because you need to hear what happened next. The arena is chaos. Paramedics are sliding into the ring. AJ's not moving. Not because he can't, but because he won't. What's the point? Everything he planned to say, every thank you he wanted to give, every memory he wanted to share, it's all gone now. Tainted. Destroyed. His farewell speech will forever be remembered not for his words, but for what was done to him. Backstage, you can imagine the panic. Producers scrambling. Vince or whoever's running things now trying to figure out if this was planned or if they just witnessed a real-life meltdown. Social media is exploding. Twitter is on fire. Instagram is flooded with clips. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone is angry, confused, heartbroken. But here's what makes this even more devastating: the history between these two. The matches they've had. The respect they've shown each other. The times they've elevated each other to levels neither could reach alone. All of that? Erased in one moment of violence. Years of mutual admiration turned to ashes in the center of that ring. And AJ, when he finally gets to his feet, when the medical staff helps him up and the crowd gives him that standing ovation he deserved from the beginning, you can see it written all over his face. This isn't how it was supposed to end. 23 years of dedication, of sacrifice, of being the consummate professional. And his last memory in that ring as an active competitor? Getting blindsided by someone he considered a colleague, maybe even a friend. The commentators are struggling to find words. What do you even say? How do you put this into context? This isn't a storyline twist that leaves you excited for next week. This is the kind of moment that makes you question whether some lines should never be crossed, even in the world of professional wrestling where reality and fiction blur together. But here's the thing about AJ Styles, and this is what makes him truly phenomenal. Even in that moment of utter devastation, even with his body broken and his farewell ruined, he finds the strength to stand. He grabs that microphone one more time. His lip is busted. His eye is already swelling. But he's not going to let someone else write the ending to his story. His voice is different now. The vulnerability is still there, but it's mixed with something else. Resolve. Determination. That fire that's kept him going through 2 decades of this grind. He looks directly at the camera, directly at the person who just betrayed him, and he delivers a message that sends chills down your spine. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. You wanted to make a statement? You got one. But you also just woke up something in AJ Styles that should have stayed sleeping. The crowd is on their feet. Not just for the speech anymore. For the warrior standing in front of them. For the man who refused to let betrayal be the final chapter. For the legend who, even in his darkest moment, reminds everyone why he earned that nickname. The phenomenal one doesn't stay down. Not ever. Let me tell you what this means for the future of Monday Night Raw. This changes everything. AJ Styles was supposed to ride off into the sunset. Instead, he's got unfinished business. And unfinished business in wrestling? That's the most dangerous kind. This isn't about championships anymore. This isn't about WrestleMania moments or pay-per-view main events. This is personal. This is about respect. About legacy. About making sure that when AJ Styles finally does say goodbye to this business, it's on his terms. And the person who did this? They've just painted a target on their back that's visible from space. Every wrestler in that locker room saw what happened. Every fan in that arena felt it. The betrayal. The cowardice. The disrespect. And in this business, there's always a price to pay. Always a receipt coming. The question isn't if AJ gets his revenge, it's when, where, and how devastating it's going to be. Think about the matches this sets up. The promos we're going to hear. The intensity that's about to be brought to Monday Night Raw week after week. Because real emotion creates real moments. And what we witnessed, that was as real as it gets. AJ's farewell speech didn't just backfire, it ignited something that's going to burn through WWE programming for months to come. This is where legends are made. Not in the victories. Not in the championship reigns. But in how they respond when everything goes wrong. When their moment gets stolen. When they're at their lowest point. AJ Styles has built a legacy on being the best in-ring performer of his generation. Now he gets to show us what he's made of outside the ropes. When the script gets thrown out. When the betrayal is real. When the pain is authentic. So what happens next? That's what we're all waiting to find out. Will AJ Styles come back for one more run? One more match to set things right? Or will he take the high road, let his legacy speak for itself, and walk away from the chaos? I don't know. But I do know this, we just witnessed a moment that's going to be replayed and discussed for years to come. The night AJ Styles' farewell speech backfired spectacularly, and somehow made his legend even bigger. If you made it this far with me, if you felt every second of that emotional roller coaster, then you're exactly who SLAMZONE is for. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like. Drop a comment and tell me what you think happens next. Are you Team AJ? Do you understand why the betrayal happened? Are you as heartbroken as I am? Let's talk about it. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know who needs to see this breakdown. Turn on those notifications so you never miss when we dive deep into the moments that matter. This is SLAMZONE, where we don't just watch wrestling, we feel it. We live it. We break it down until we understand why these moments hit us so hard. And this moment? This one's going to hurt for a while, but that's what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it real. That's what makes us remember why we fell in love with this crazy, dramatic, emotional, phenomenal business in the first place. AJ Styles came to say goodbye, and instead reminded us why we can never really let our heroes go. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, stay phenomenal.